This, gotta confess, one of my all-time favorite songs, sung by one of my all-time favorite singers, and written by. This is, of course, Sunlight by Jesse Colin Young, originally done with his band at the time, 1969, the Youngbloods, on their album Elephant Mountain. Now, there's a lot of places you can find it now. There's Greatest Hits. There was this compilation album, the one that I really snagged when I could back then, that happened to be called Sunlight. But really encourage you to listen to this song and kind of get it in your heart and in your head, and then take a look. Like, the first thing I'd like you to try to do, depending on how much you know about chords already, or just depending on where you are as a guitar player, is just take a look at the chart and practice playing along. See, and in a minute, in the next segment, I'm gonna strum through the whole thing before we talk about the chords and how to play them and some things like that. And I'll give you some little options, or some an opportunity to sort of see what I would do in this song. So it's going to be a little bit of a listen and learn thing. We're not going to try to figure out the chords from top to bottom. It's a bit complicated for that, although you're welcome to do that if you like. There will be no singing involved in this on my part. Jesse's voice, I love Jesse's voice. There's just, anyway, can't get those notes. My wife even said, when she heard this when I was playing, when I was thinking about doing a lesson, she goes, "Wow, that voice, he's got that voice." And she said, "Who is that?" Anyway, she eventually placed it and said, "Oh yeah, now I recognize it because you hear him sing also in Get Together and a few other things." Anyway, Youngbloods were just a great, late 60s band that hung on into the early 70s, and then Jesse made some solo albums earlier, before one was even called Youngblood, and then some other great ones later. Of course, Song for Julie is the one that everybody should listen to Ridgetop, and I might get to some songs from that album somewhere down the line. But today we're going to look at Sunlight, and it's a fairly simple strumming song. I'm not even really going to talk too much about the strumming, at least we're not going to have a close-up of that, but it's just keeping a steady rhythm going, but there are some parts later on where we have to get a lot of accents in unusual places. And then there are some spots too where there are some optional chords depending on which version you happen to be listening to. So Jesse has changed the chord in one chord in the verse, so that I think in the chart there's a little asterisk next to it. So, okay, without further ado or chit-chatting about this beautiful tune, Sunlight, let's get into, I'll strum through it in the next section with a metronome at about, I think 100. It'll be fairly slow. I think the real speed's 117, 118, something like that. But first, encourage you to listen to the original, get it kind of in your head, and then come along and start playing along with me in the next segment, and then we'll break it down.